Hello, welcome back to Facing the Waves. I have another video for you. It's not a message or any TTC content. This is for especially parents who have kids, teens or tweens, whatever you have. If you have children living in your home, this is kind of a warning message and also a story of something that I remembered about my past. I had actually started this video and then my husband had called me and reminded me that my son had a doctor's appointment today, so I kind of had to cut the video off and I'm just kind of redoing it right now. I need to make it a little bit shorter anyway. So a memory that sparked up from my past because of something that happened here, which I will tell you what happened also, so watch the whole video. But the memory that I remembered was when we first moved to Florida. We moved actually like in the last few weeks of middle school, and I was riding the bus. It was like the last few weeks of middle school before we started high school, but that's just the timing that it happened, that we moved from New Jersey, because I grew up in New Jersey, to Florida. So I rode the bus. I rode the bus through high school as well, but I rode the bus for middle school. And one day, since I used to ride the bus and I used to walk there by myself to the bus stop, but my bus stop was like all the way down the road from my house, so I would turn behind my house and walk all the way down the street to the main road, and that's where the bus would pick us up at. So one day I actually missed the bus. The bus came really early. It wasn't even my fault, but I missed the bus. As soon as I turned the corner, I saw the bus at the end of the road off in the distance picking up the kids. Shortly after that, shut its doors and drove off. And I am sitting here running and running. Obviously I was not going to make it. There was no way I could make it. I was on one side of the road. The bus was on the other side, already leaving. But I ran anyway. I was trying to make it, or maybe like make the bus see me so they could stop and wait for me. But they did not see me at all. They left. And then as I stopped running, because obviously the bus already left me, I was catching my breath, and out of nowhere a police pulled up, like creeped up behind me and pulled to the side and was just kind of driving super slow as I'm walking. He put down his window. I felt really weird from the beginning. I had very bad vibes, like a weird gut feeling about this police. He kind of stopped and questioned me and asked me if I had missed the bus. Then I told him yes, and still trying to catch my breath, he was questioning me on what school I went to, which back then it was a middle school. It wasn't too far away from my house. So he knew what school I was talking about. He was like looking down at his phone at something. I am not sure. I am not really sure. Like, this is a very old memory. I am in my 30s now, and this was end of middle school. So all I remember is that he kept looking at his phone. He seemed kind of hesitant. I seemed hesitant because I felt I had a bad gut feeling. I am not sure if this was a good cop or a bad cop. Back then, that's not really what I was thinking about, but I think about that now, and I do truly wonder if this was a good person or not. Now, I am not sure. I am pretty sure that police are not really allowed to just pick up, especially minors, off the road and bring them to school. But he was questioning me, and he didn't specifically ask me if I wanted him to take me to school. I don't think we ever got to that. But I do remember that I saw, and this is how I know that the bus was actually really early, because I saw another mom, somebody I was familiar with, in that same road with her daughter, and they looked like they were getting out the house, getting ready to get in the car to go to school. And this person usually rides the bus with me. So I looked at them and they looked like they were already getting ready to leave. So I told the police that I was going to ask her if she could take me to school, because I was familiar with them. I didn't really talk to them much, but I knew that they probably missed the bus as well, and they were heading the direction that I was going to. I'm not sure what happened to the police from that moment and on. I don't know if he kind of just waited around to make sure that I got in the car safely, or if he drove off after that. I'm not sure, But I know that I felt a huge relief when I saw that mom, and I knew that I would ask her to take me to school, and everything in my body was screaming, don't get into this police car with this man. My mom, unaware of anything, I'm not sure if my mom was home. I feel like she wasn't. Maybe she had some other type of morning routine where I couldn't just go back home and ask her to take me to school. So I knew she wasn't home. I'm not sure if she had a job back then. I feel like she didn't, or maybe she was just going to the gym or something. But I know the thing is that I could not go back home and just ask her to give me a ride. And I felt weird about this police guy, and he was all by himself and he kept looking down at his phone. And I felt a huge sense of relief when I saw this mom. So anyway, I told the police that I was going to ask her, and I did. I feel like she immediately saw me walking up to her anyway, because she offered me to give me a ride. She was like, you missed the bus, didn't you? And then she was like, yeah, we missed the bus too. And the bus just must have been really extremely early that day. And she said, I'll take you to school. She told me to hop right in. So I am not sure if she even knew about the police. I don't know where the police went at that point. I never looked back to see, or I just don't remember that. But the story is that she did take me to school, and it was a normal day at school. Nothing else weird happened that day. But I felt so thankful and relieved once I got in the car with her and got to school safely. And then again, my mom, she never knew about this. I could have got into that police car with that police, and whether he was a good police or not, my mom would have never known at all. She was not there. I never told her after school what had happened. I never told her I missed the bus and that I accepted a ride from the lady down the road. So my mom completely unaware. And obviously when you're a parent, now you think about that and it's like, wow, this police could have been a bad person. He could have had bad plans. Or maybe he was a good person and I would have ended up getting to school safely and on time. But you just never know. And this was years ago. I can only imagine how worse things are right now. We all know as parents that we need to watch out for our kids, especially out in public or on the streets. But I also want to remind you, especially now with so much technology, gaming systems, social media, we really have to be vigilant for our kids more now than ever, because there is so much evil in this world. There are things happening that you cannot even imagine, and I wish I didn't know about, because I feel like life was better before becoming aware of all of these things happening. But what brought up that memory was because of a situation that happened here in our own household that kind of came to a head yesterday. So my kids, they play with this, I guess you could call it an Oculus or a VR headset. And if your kids have this, or if you have this as an adult, you know that there are some games where they can chat with other people. It has, like, the gaming system has a mic, and you can talk to other people, whether it's other kids, teens, sometimes it's even adults, like a specific name called Gorilla Tag, that people can talk to each other. It's like a little virtual reality world, and you can talk to other real people. So he's been playing, my son specifically plays this more than my daughter because he's homeschooled, so he has a little bit more free time than her. But she plays it as well, and anytime they're playing this is downstairs in the living room, so we are always present. We can always hear what's going on, the conversations. The speaker is pretty loud and you can hear everything going on. So if anything is ever like off or weird, we tell them to get off or to block the person. And you cannot imagine the things that you hear on these games, the way kids are talking, the racial things that they're saying, just cursing and all kinds of stuff. Like, you can tell other kids are not being supervised by their parents when they're on these games, but we can always hear what is going on. So they're never like in a room by themselves talking to strange people. But so I already don't like this whole gaming system and the whole chatting thing because of how other kids act on it. But anyway, so my son has made a couple friends. You can sometimes tell when people are the same age as him. So he's made a couple friends, and you can tell by the conversations or the way they talk, the things they talk about and chat about while playing these games. But most recently, he met a girl that's supposedly 14 years old on this gaming platform. They've been talking and playing together for a while. At some point in the conversation, he asked a picture of her because, you know, kids, especially 13-year-olds and up, they eventually do get curious about this other person that they met online, how they look like. So I guess he asked her for a picture. And these games, this is another thing I don't like about these games, and we are seriously considering taking that off or taking any games that allow this. But kids are able to chat with each other as part of these games, kind of like a text message, but through the game program. So they were chatting, and he asked for a picture of her. So she sent a picture of herself to him. Not an inappropriate picture or nothing like that. This is not what that is about, but just a innocent like face profile. So days go by and they are chatting up more, and my husband, he has more of the gift of discernment than I do. I am more gullible, and I like to think that everybody is nice and innocent until they are proven not to be. I need to work on that, especially now as a parent with younger kids that are growing up. But my husband always thought it was weird. He always felt like her voice just seemed a little bit more older and more mature. And we can actually see the messages that they are chatting back and forth to each other, and something just kind of rang the bells in his head, and he did not feel comfortable with this. He also felt like the girl did not look her age on the picture that she was sending my son, but not really sure what it was specifically, but something in his gut, in my husband's gut, was telling him that that my son is not talking to this girl. And so he did a little bit more digging, a little more research. My son asked for another picture of her. One thing that was really weird about yesterday, so he had this one picture of her. What we did with that picture was search it on the Google Images. You know how you can take any photo online, search it on the Google Images, and it'll show if that picture shows up anywhere else on the internet. And the picture that she sent my son was found on Pinterest and I think TikTok or something like that. So that doesn't really mean anything. That could just mean that she uploaded those pictures to those websites. So that's not really like a red flag or anything. But so she sent him a picture, an old picture of her profile. But one thing that was kind of weird about yesterday specifically was that yesterday was Veterans Day, and as far as I know, all schools are closed on Veterans Day. My daughter, she goes to public school, and she didn't have school yesterday. But my son was waiting all day for this girl to get off school so that they can play and chat together again. So I thought that was weird because school supposedly closed today. Or I'm talking about yesterday. School was supposedly closed that day, and why was he waiting for her all day? She told him that she was at school. After school, she supposedly sent him a picture of her on the bus, and again, we searched this image, and it was an old picture just sent to him that had been online because it matched with photos online. So then we started getting really suspicious. So my son asked for a more recent, like a picture of today type picture. And she sent another one. So this will be the third photo. I believe it was the third photo she sent. And we looked it up online, and again, it showed up. So she kept sending old pictures of herself. So at this point, we don't know who the heck my son is talking to. If this is even really the girl in the pictures, or this could be like a random adult, an old guy, it could be an adult woman talking to my son and sending these random pictures found online to my son. It could have been the girl, we don't really know, but we think that's suspicious with the whole school being off thing, and these old pictures just taken that you can find online being sent to my son. It seemed like whoever this was, if this was not the girl, if it was the girl, why would she be sending all these old photos? It just seemed suspicious, and my husband had a really weird feeling about it, so my son and her chit-chatted a little bit back and forth, and she swore that that was her. But things just got really weird, and we just ended up blocking all communication and deleting all of that and blocking her, because we're almost sure that this was not who my son was talking to. We feel like it was somebody else just using those pictures online. So that is pretty scary. You never know. Like, you really need to do research on what is happening with kids these days, from kids being sold as sex slaves, and there's just so much worse going on than that. Not just that, but there's even worse things that's going on with kids being kidnapped and all of these crazy things happening these days. Very like demonic and Satanist things going on with rich people, with just regular people and celebrities. Definitely do your research about it. There's a lot of things coming to light. There's a lot of rumors happening, but I don't think these are rumors whatsoever. I think it's really happening, and it's just really sad, and it's really scary to have kids at this time and age, especially when all of these new technology and social media is popping up, all of these new gaming systems, which I think are purposely made this way so that kids can get trapped into this and talking to the wrong people. We don't know what these people can be doing with our information. They could somehow track where we live, even though our addresses aren't really hard to find at all these days, but they can be using like the Wi-Fi or the internet connection to track where our kids live, and all kinds of things that you can find out through online and through these games, and it's just really scary. Of course, we talk to our kids about this, but it really, like, it's so easy for us to be fooled and for them to be fooled as well into talking to people that don't have the best interest with our kids. But all in all, I just want to end the video with just continue to be vigilant with your children, continue to monitor everything, continue to pray and fast and guide your children in the correct direction, teaching them, because they really don't know. They don't know only what we teach them. So we have to be there and constantly monitor everything. They do not need or deserve, you don't owe them any privacy whatsoever. As long as they are living under your household, you as parents are in charge of their safety, especially their online safety and their presence on social media and all of that. And I think about, even if this person was innocent and it was just a girl that he was talking to, why haven't her parents taught her anything about safety on social media? Why is she sending photos and pictures to somebody that she doesn't know who it is? Like, she could be talking to a grown man pretending to be a little 13-year-old boy. She never knows. So our kids definitely need a lot more guidance when it comes to online safety and all of that. This is things that we all know, but we always think that things cannot happen to us. Like, oh, things that you see on the news never gonna happen to my family. And that's completely not true. Anything can come to your doorstep and happen to you as well. So we have to be vigilant, watchful, and keep praying, keep fasting, and just keep asking God for guidance and help in everything. So I hope you guys learned something and take something from my experience, and also that memory flashback that I had of my past as well, because that could have turned out into something scary, and back then my mom would have never known about it. So just something to think about, and I'll end the video right here. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you in the next one.